What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Livin In Lex, where we talk about all things living, eating, breathing, Lexington, Kentucky, and Central Kentucky. If you can think of it, this show's got it. Today, I want to talk about every human's favorite small talk topic, and that is the weather. We all want to know what the weather's like in an area, especially if we've never lived there before, and I did a little digging into this topic specifically for Lexington and Central Kentucky, and there's really not that much information on there about what you can expect for the weather on a year-to-year basis. Yeah, sure, you can see what the weather was in the past or what the weather's going to be whenever you visit or going to be living here, but what's it really like to live with the weather here? And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to give you some of my personal experiences and thoughts with Lexington weather. If you're watching this video, it probably means that you're thinking about visiting here or possibly even moving here. I want to add that I'm a Lexington native and local real estate agent, so if you're thinking about making the move to Lexington or the surrounding areas, I'll leave my information down below. Feel free to text, call, email me at any point. I absolutely love it whenever you all reach out from the channel. I'm helping people every day relocate to Lexington, so reach out to me today and I'd love to be able to help you where I can. So without further ado, let's jump into this video and talk about what the weather is like in Lexington, Kentucky. Now, I'm not sure what kind of area that you might be moving from specifically or are used to, but if you're down south where it's hot all the time, just know we have a little bit of that too. Or if you're up north like in Alaska where it's just cold and snowing all the time, no, we have a little bit of that as well. Kentucky is truly a four-season state, meaning we get all four seasons being fall, spring, summer, and winter. But the great part about it is we're pretty balanced and moderate in all four of those. We don't experience them in the level of severity that a lot of other areas that have those more prominently do. I would be willing to bet a lot of money that a Texas summer is almost always going to be hotter and longer than a Lexington or Kentucky summer, and an Alaska winter is going to be longer and colder than a Lexington winter. So what should you expect the weather to be like while you're here? First off, I want to talk about spring here in the Lexington area, which you can expect to start somewhere around mid to late March, going into end of April, maybe early June. Now I know there are actual dates to these seasons and I might be ignoring them in this video, but these seasons in Lexington or in Kentucky, I think just kind of put off a certain vibe and feel to them, so that's what I'm going to go off of. Springs here are usually pretty moderate. I'd say we get more rain here in Lexington during the spring than any other time of year. The biggest complaint that I hear about a Lexington spring is by far the allergies that come with it, and I know I've talked about this some on former videos, but I want to reemphasize it here. Kentucky is a really balanced climate and state, meaning that a lot of the plants that may cause people allergies grow here pretty much at some point during the year, and spring is when a lot of them come into bloom. While the allergies may not be fun, most of the days in terms of temperature feel pretty good. You can expect most days in the spring to be in the 70s with nights jumping down into the 50s. So you can wear a t-shirt and shorts during the day and throw on a hoodie for at night and get around a campfire or something like that. Now, when we talk about summer, it can get really hot sometimes and really humid. What I think a lot of people don't understand about the heat here in Kentucky is that the humidity levels here make it 10 times worse. If you come from an area that has a dry heat, yeah, I know those things suck and it might get up to 100 degrees on some days in those areas, but you can get up to 80 degrees here or sometimes even mid 80s and just sweat like crazy, which makes it absolutely miserable, especially if you have to work outside or something like that. At my old job where I used to work for UK Athletic Sports Turf, we did a lot of work outside, and the summers were absolutely miserable sometimes. You'd sweat like crazy. So in the summers, be sure you drink a lot of water because you're going to sweat. It's going to get hot. You may not see those 100-degree days, which it has hit those at some points in Kentucky. They're pretty rare. 90s are about as high as it gets. You may not get super hot, but the humidity here in the summer is by far the biggest thing to watch for. Fall in Lexington may be my favorite season of all the others. I just love it going from being kind of miserably hot on some days to it going back to those 70-degree weather days with the cooler nights where you can wear hoodies and jeans. You can expect fall weather to start kicking in somewhere around October, the Halloween period, although I will say we have had snows on Halloween and a little bit earlier before, but usually your best fall weather is in that late September to October and sometimes early November period. Now there are some other plants that grow go into bloom that people have allergies to in the fall. So this is another period where some people get bad allergies. This is actually the only time of year that I actually have allergies here in Lexington. Once you stay here for long enough, you just kind of get used to it. Now, most of you are probably wondering everyone's favorite or least favorite season, and that's what is winter like. Winter here can get pretty cold sometimes. I will say the highest it really gets in the winter is maybe 50 or 60, although I have had Christmases where I've been wearing shorts and a t-shirt because it's been in the low to mid 70s, which is pretty crazy to think about. I'd say on average though, Kentucky weather in the winter is probably around 40 degrees. The big thing that you're probably wondering about is what's the snow like here? Now, we don't get a ton of snow in Lexington. I've even had a couple of winters that I've experienced where we really didn't get any snow, but I would say we get at least 1 or 2 snows every year at least. I feel like snow is you either love it or you hate it kind of relationship, but the only bad part we really have to not getting a lot of snow is whenever we do, and sometimes we do get a lot of snow, we're not really equipped to handle it because we generally don't get a lot of it. Lexington is probably the only city that is capable of handling a lot of snow in terms of salt trucks and plows, but there's a lot of rural areas surrounding Lexington that just can't handle it whenever we have a big snow or even a little snow. To most northerners, a couple inches may not be anything to you, but here in Lexington, that'll put everyone in a frenzy. Schools are canceled, grocery stores are emptied, just because we're not equipped to handle it, and we don't really know how to drive in it either. So even if you are a good driver in the snow, just be aware that not everyone here is, so be cautious when on the roads whenever it snows, because some people aren't as equipped to deal with it as others are. I've also heard from most people that Lexington is one of the few places that they've been to where they've experienced ice storms, and these are by far the worst because we have these freezing rains or snow that melts, that refreezes, gets on the trees, breaks tree branches, which go into homes, cars, break power lines. These are the worst of all that we get. Now, these can be kind of rare. There's only been a couple that have happened in my lifetime, my short lifetime, but they can be pretty bad when they do happen. While ice storms are by far the most dangerous kind of weather that we have in Lexington, or one of the most dangerous kinds of weather that we have had other years where snow's gotten to be well over a foot before. While rare, it happens. I should also mention that while talking about dangerous weather in Kentucky, tornadoes are possible here in Kentucky. Back in 2012, we had one that devastated eastern Kentucky, and just this year, there was one that devastated western Kentucky too. Now, the one that hit western Kentucky, it is a rare occurrence, and we've never had one in my lifetime like that in the Lexington area. I just want to mention it because it is something that can occur. That one in western Kentucky was also about as extreme as it gets for Kentucky, so just know that. Of course, tornadoes being caused by cold and warm fronts mixing together, and let me tell you why Lexington has the potential to have them, or why Kentucky has the potential to have them. Almost anyone I talk to, I tell them that Lexington weather is just really sporadic. I know that I've said that Lexington weather is a pretty mild climate, and it is. We don't reach the extremes very often, but it's just kind of weird when the weather comes sometimes. Occasionally there will be days in the summer where the high might be like 75, or there might be days in the winter where the high might be 65, which is pretty abnormally weird for winter and summer weather. Also, there may be no sign of rain or snow in sight, and all of a sudden, guess what? You've got rain or snow. The reason it's so weird is because you can have that one day and all of the other days, either before or after, were either cold or hot or more of the normal of what Lexington sees. So it's very odd whenever we do have those days. I think Lexington sometimes just might forget what kind of season it's in, or can't make up its mind when it decides what the weather is going to be for that day. I think weather is one of those topics for most locations that could probably be talked about for a really long time, but for the sake of this video and the sake of your attention span, I think we're going to leave it here. If you're watching this video, that means you're probably curious on the weather or what Lexington or Kentucky is like. I'm going to leave my information down below. Like I've said before, I'm a Lexington native and local real estate agent, so if you're thinking about making the move here or just have questions about things about Lexington, feel free to reach out to me. I'm helping people every day relocate to Lexington, move here, answer questions. Reach out to me anytime via text, call, email. I'm more than happy to help you however I can. Although if you want to reach out and talk more about the weather, let's not have the typical elevator small talk about the weather. Let's have some conversation too. That'd be fun. If you like the content that I'm putting out, be sure you press the subscribe button and the little notification bell down below this video to make sure that I can continue bringing you the content about Lexington and real estate and the Lexington area that you all like to see. That concludes this video of the weather in Lexington and Kentucky, and I'll catch you next time on the next episode of Livin' in Lex.